Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Donkey Projections. Today, we'll be taking a look at our updated 2020 presidential election forecast. My name's Lucas, I have Eric here with me,
Hey guys.
and let's get right into the episode. So a difference that we have in this video and our election night video is we're going to show exactly what our thoughts on like the lean tilts, because we couldn't really show that with the election night video. So let's start as always by putting in all these safe Biden states. We got the West Coast.
West Coast, Hawaii. Then we got the East Coast.
Plus Illinois and New York. Seems to be it. All right. Now the safe Republican states. We got the Midwest. Oops.
And the South, for the most part.
Exception
Which
District
we'll
2.
talk about District 2 later.
Kentucky. You know what? I am going to put Iowa as safe. I think the margin there is deep enough. I think it is safe enough to be considered a safe state. West Virginia, Indiana. Obviously, this video is going to be a lot different from our polling video because that was
not our opinion. Yeah.
I think I got them all. Did I miss any? No, I think I got them all. Oh.
Maine All-State.
Yeah, and All-State, Maine First District. All right. Let's take a look at all the likely states. Texas is not a toss-up and it's not lean. We think that this one is likely. Yes, if you watched the video from yesterday, it is moving more and more purple, but for this election, it's going to be likely. And the same can be said about Georgia. It's a very similar case to Texas. It is trending more to the left, but as of today, it will not go to former vice president. Colorado and New Mexico and Colorado, these two states are moving more and more to the left. They used to be swing states. I believe that I saw a map from Biden's campaign. Biden's campaign released a swing state map. They did not include, I forgot which one it was, but they didn't include one of these, so which is a clear sign that these are moving to the direction more to the left. I would say the same thing with Nevada. Yes, these three states, the margins are smaller than a solid state, but I do still believe that it will be going to Joe Biden in a pretty likely scenario. Eric, what do you have to say about Minnesota?
So we have very interesting news about Minnesota and how it can potentially impact the votes here. So Joe Biden has requested Amy Klobuchar to be vetted in the process for potentially becoming his vice president. This is huge because, as we know, Amy Klobuchar is from Minnesota, and this can significantly boost his performance here.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what that means, basically a vetting is the first step to take when they're choosing a vice president. So this is pretty big because this means that Amy Klobuchar is being considered by the Biden campaign to be the vice president. Of course, we don't know that yet. It's too early to tell that, but we will put Minnesota as a likely Democratic state because, you know, we simply look at history. It didn't even vote for the Republican in the 84 landslide against Walter Mondale. Yes, it was a close margin in 2016, but I do think the state will likely go to the former vice president. Now, the state of Ohio, as you might have seen in yesterday's video, it is moving more and more to the right. Ohio is just between a likely state and a safe state at this point, which is quite surprising since Obama carried it both times he ran, just like Iowa. But Ohio does look like it's going to be a likely Republican state. Eric, you want to take over New Hampshire?
Yeah, sure, I'll take over New Hampshire. I think, in my opinion, that this will be a likely blue state because Hillary Clinton did manage to take it in 2016. So I think Biden, with the help of potentially Klobuchar, we don't know that yet, can also take this in a pretty comfortable margin.
Yeah, even though Hillary Clinton might have lost in she might have won this in a smaller margin. I do want to look at Bernie Sanders here. Bernie Sanders lives right next to that. His home state is Vermont, or not lives, but his home state is Vermont, right next to New Hampshire. We're seeing that Bernie Sanders has a lot more support for Joe Biden than he did for Hillary Clinton. Looks like Bernie Sanders will throw support onto Joe Biden, consolidate all of the Democratic Party under Joe Biden. So for that reason, I do agree that it might be a likely state. Now, I got another interesting likely one here. We put this one as lean, but I actually think it's going to be likely Maine 2nd District. Maine 2nd District is a very rural place, and if you didn't see the previous videos, how you can tell this is they divide congressional districts by population. And if you look at it here, Maine 2nd District looks a lot bigger than Maine's 1st District. Now, what does this mean? This means that there's less people here. And that also means, oops, I can't type, but it means that there are less people here, and which means that it's probably going to be a more rural area, and more rural areas usually vote for the Republican candidates. With that being said, I do think this pattern will continue in 2020. Donald Trump did win this in 2016 by about a percentage point. I don't know if I remember that correctly, but yes, I do think this is a likely. What do you think here, Eric?
Yeah, I also think this is a likely. Lean is a bit too generous. I think it's a clear win. Not clear, but it's a pretty obvious win for the Republicans in this 2nd District.
Now, the state of Virginia. Hillary Clinton won the state pretty decisively in 2016. It might have been in part because of her vice presidential pick, Tim Kaine, but Virginia is swinging more and more to the left. I actually read a news story that some of the voters in Virginia want to actually join in states with West Virginia because they're saying Virginia is too Democratic and they want to vote with the Republicans and they want to combine with West Virginia.
Wow, interesting.
So it does look like that Virginia will be swinging to the left this time. I put it as a likely because I don't want to put it as solid because it's not as large as the margin as these states might be, but nevertheless, it's still likely. Let's talk about Michigan now. The governor here is Gretchen Whitmer. She is pretty popular at the moment for her handling of the coronavirus. This was a state that Donald Trump won in 2016. I think a reason why he probably won was why the polling was kind of off in this area is because of the shy Trump voter. Basically, the shy Trump voter is the person when they call on the polls, they don't want to give their affiliation. I'm assuming that there were a lot of those shy Trump voters in the Midwest states. However, I do think Joe Biden will carry the state of Michigan, and I think it's a lean margin. Now, if he does choose Gretchen Whitmer as his vice presidential candidate, I think that this moves to the likely column. However, if Gretchen, even without considering her as being the VP pick, Gretchen Whitmer has been doing a pretty good job with the handling of the coronavirus, and she will probably endorse Joe Biden and try to get support there out for her. Eric, you want to talk about Pennsylvania?
Yeah, sure. We can talk about Pennsylvania. So in 2016, as we know, Donald Trump did win Pennsylvania. What I personally think is that Joe Biden will, I think he will be able to take it back in a lean, maybe tilt margin. Not by much, but I think he will be able to take it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I would also say either tilt or lean. I'm leaning more towards tilt.
Yeah.
Because we do have to remember that Donald Trump did carry. This is definitely not unlikely though, like what the polls say. I do think I do agree with you. I think it's going to be lean. So let's head now to North Carolina. North Carolina is traditionally a swing state. However, it did go to Donald Trump in 2016 and Mitt Romney in 2012. With that being said, I do think that North Carolina will be going to the president again, this time probably in a lean margin. Yes, in our election night video, we did show that North Carolina was too close to call, but I do think that eventually Donald Trump will edge out a victory here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I also think so. If he was able to do it in 2016, I think he was going to be able to do it here because it's also close to the South, not as close as South Carolina, but it's there. It's near there.
The state of Florida now. Florida is also traditionally a swing state. If you saw in our video, it is from yesterday. It is swinging more and more to the right now, actually. Rick Scott was elected senator and Ron DeSantis was elected governor. They're both two Republicans. Florida, traditionally a swing state, but this is Donald Trump's home state now. Polling does show Biden leading by, but like really slim margin, like 1.2 points.
Yeah.
In our projection video, we did give this one to Trump, and we were kind of back and forth on that. We were debating. We were going to put the state as either tilt D, toss up, tilt R, and then we decided after that we thought about the factors. We'll put it as tilt R. So we gave that one to Trump. I think personally this will probably be between toss-up and tilt-R. I think I'm leaning more towards toss-up. I'm going to leave this one as toss-up, but if we did have to characterize this one, I'd put this one as
Mhm.
tilt-R.
I definitely wouldn't say that it's going to the Democrats, and because Donald Trump did win it, and based on factors of Trump moving and
Mhm.
who's there in other branches of government at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, also we can't rely on polling here, because I think that polling oftentimes is pretty left biased. Like I believe Hillary Clinton was leading in 10 states, and by 10% in some of the the states that she lost. So 1%, 2% lead might be not that good for Biden, after all. So I do think that this state we're going to leave this one as a toss up. If anything, tilt R. So now this is interesting. We got Wisconsin and Arizona. What's interesting here is Biden has 268. He only needs 2 votes, which means he can carry either Wisconsin or Arizona if he were to flip Pennsylvania and Michigan back to him. In my opinion, want to see if a higher chance of carrying. I do think that he will probably carry Arizona more easily, especially considering the coronavirus. I don't remember 100% what we put Arizona, but in my opinion, it has moved more to the left now, following coronavirus, especially considering Arizona is now such a swing state. I'm either saying tilt D or lean D, one of those. Which one do you think is more accurate, Eric?
Um, I think based on the fact that it's a swing state, I think we can say tilt, but maybe that's a bit too
Yeah,
not
it's hard to characterize this one,
Mhm.
because it is. We do think that there is a high chance that Scott Kelly will be elected here.
Scott Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
Mark
Oh,
Kelly.
Mark. Sorry. All right. Wisconsin. Wisconsin. This I think is going to be the closest race that we've had in a while here. I was going to compare this to Florida in 2000, but I do think that it's not going to happen if Joe Biden is able to carry these 2 states. Wisconsin's going to be very close. Um, let's get back to Wisconsin later. We'll talk about Nebraska District 2 first. Eric, you want to take any 2?
Yeah. So kind of the opposite of Maine District 2. It's a very big district in Maine, meaning that the population is not that huge. In Nebraska, complete opposite. If you see that the congressional district is very small, you know that there's a lot of population there. And this is exactly where Omaha is, which is a big city in Nebraska. I think in our previous video, we put this as toss-up, if I'm correct.
I'm not sure. I actually
I'm
don't
not
remember.
sure. I don't remember.
I
But
yeah, I think it's more leaning to the Republican
yeah,
side.
lean Republican. I would put
Mm.
it as lean Republican.
Yeah, I also agree because we got to look at the past. The last time this went to a Democrat was 2008 by Barack Obama, but I don't even use that as a comparison because that was really a lopsided election, decisive victory for
Yeah.
Barack Obama. Oops, for Barack Obama. I don't think that will happen again. Oops, oh my gosh, anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that's a reliable election to think about. Because if you think about it, he nearly carried the state of Missouri. He almost carried Missouri.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
very
it
interesting.
was
Yeah.
interesting. The margin was close enough that if Obama wanted to, he could have ordered a recount, but he decided that there wasn't a point since he already won the presidency. But yeah, it's really interesting to keep in mind. I don't think 2008 would be a good election to look to base our predictions on. Yeah, so sorry for wasting our time, but I think we are going to do a video soon where we're going to analyze the 2008 presidential election and see how really lopsided that was.
Yeah.
Now, Wisconsin, gosh, Wisconsin is going to be close. We gave it to Joe Biden in the election night video, but really, this is anyone's. We were back and forth, Eric and I, whether
Mhm.
to put it as tilt Trump or tilt Biden. It was really close. With that being said, if we have the ability to leave it as toss up, I give this one toss up. I have no other characterization to say. It's
Mhm.
way too close here. I have
It
no idea
can it
what to
can
put.
literally go any way.
Anyway, yeah. The good news for Joe Biden is he doesn't have to carry the state. If he's able to carry the state of Arizona, he will be good to go. But of course, he doesn't know if that will happen. We don't know if that's going to happen either. So Wisconsin, I think we are going to officially leave as toss-up. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that?
Yep, I agree with that, to be, as respected as possible of what can possibly happen and not lean a certain way. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this presidential election prediction video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you like our content, please hit subscribe. We'll see you in our next video tomorrow.
See ya.